We often hear statements like, my oil is a typical oil of the area. Cheap oils can't be genuine. It is expensive, but it's absolutely genuine. Market operators frequently use terms like genuine or typical to appeal to consumers. Ironically, these words are sometimes used in ways that communicate exactly the opposite of their intended meaning. This happens because in everyday usage, we forget that words are meant to represent ideas, not interpret them. Describing an oil as genuine or typical might catch a consumer's attention, but it doesn't necessarily mean the oil is superior, unique, or better than its competitors. Hi, welcome back to Olive Oil Drops, a podcast created by Marco Antonucci. For all of you who want to know everything or almost everything about olive oil and olives. I'm Milena. A quick clarification. In this podcast, I'm not going to dive into European or Italian regulations on these terms. That's a topic we covered in other episodes about labeling, which you can refer to if you are interested. Here, I just want to explore how the words typical or genuine are often misused and misunderstood in everyday language. So, what does genuineness really mean? Let's go back to our school days for a moment. Remember when we'd grab a dictionary to look up words? The Italian language dictionary online defines genuine as adulterated, unsophisticated, true, straightforward, authentic, and natural. But what does that really mean? Especially in the context of food. If we dig deeper, Piero Bonato, author of the Certification of Quality, Regulatory Situation and Experiences, describes genuineness as the preservation of the physical, organoleptic and nutritional properties of foods. He emphasizes that everyone involved in the food chain, no matter their role, must work to maintain food's genuineness and ensure safe practices. Why? Because in the world of food production, mistakes are cumulative and often irreversible. Even food protection laws offer two distinct definitions of genuineness. One is natural definition, a substance untouched by human manipulation or mixing with foreign substances. The other one is legal or formal, food substances that meet specific qualitative and compositional standards defined by law. In everyday life, we usually associate genuineness with words like healthy, unsophisticated, or natural. But if we think about it, these terms can be vague. Depending on the context, they might mean very different things. For instance, genuineness doesn't apply just to food. It can describe a contract, a genuine agreement, or even something negative like genuine hypocrisy. This lack of clarity often misleads both producers and consumers. Producers might label their products as genuine, while consumers assume certain qualities that aren't actually present. Let's try explaining it with a common food that's familiar to everyone. Milk. Freshly milked milk is as natural and unprocessed as it gets. It is unsophisticated and therefore genuine. If it comes directly from cows, sheep, goats, or buffaloes and hasn't been heated above 40 degrees Celsius or treated in similar ways, it is called raw milk. Some of this raw milk is sold through vending machines, and while it's generally safe, there is always a slight risk of bacterial contamination. Plus, it spoils quickly, lasting only a few days if kept at the right temperature. To address this risk and extend shelf life, we have two options. We can boil milk at home to kill bacteria, or we can pasteurize it. Pasteurization is a process where milk is heated to 71.7 degrees Celsius for 15 seconds. This strikes a good balance. It kills nearly all bacteria while preserving much of the milk's nutritional and sensory qualities. But you see, pasteurization does cause some chemical and physical changes to the milk. So by strict definition, pasteurized milk isn't genuine anymore. It is safer and more practical, but not entirely unchanged. Are extra virgin olive oils always genuine? In theory, all extra virgin olive oils should be genuine because they are produced solely through mechanical pressing of fresh olives. However, exceptions exist. For example, the law permits the use of talcum powder during malaxation stage of production. In such cases, the oil becomes contaminated with a foreign substance which alters its natural composition, meaning it can no longer be considered genuine. The same principle applies to oils produced in controlled atmospheres such as with nitrogen or inert gases. Similarly, virgin olive oil follows the same logic. It is made exclusively by mechanical means. Any minor chemical organoleptic defects that arise naturally without any alterations do not compromise its edibility or wholesomeness. This allows us to consider this type of virgin olive oil as genuine. Is an olive oil with protected designation origin genuine? But the same answer applies. If the production process involves any element that alters the oil, it cannot be labeled as genuine. When defining and using the term genuineness, it is crucial to carefully consider every step of the production process, even those that may seem minor or insignificant. This attention to detail is essential because labeling an oil as a genuine obligates the producer or bottler to prove it. Misleading the consumer or applying an inaccurate label can lead to significant consequences. If you can't guarantee the genuineness of your oil with certainty, it is best to avoid using the term on the label or in advertising. What is typical? Let's now explore the term typical. According to the same dictionary online, it refers to something that corresponds to type, characteristic, or proper form. The costumes typical of a region, mountain villages, or wines that consistently reflect the characteristics of their region of origin. Experts often expand on this concept, suggesting that a product can be considered typical when certain factors align. These include historical tradition, geographical origin, the quality of raw materials, and the methods used in production. To safeguard the distinctive nature of certain food products, the European Union has implemented detailed regulations. These rules establish levels of recognition designed to protect the names and authenticity of regional products from imitation or misuse. We discussed these regulations extensively in podcast 12, which you can refer to for more details. In practical terms, we can think of typical as meaning characteristic. For olive oil, its defining features often stem from the relationship between the product and its environment, whether through the geographical origin of the olives or the location of the production process. According to European regulations on designations of origin, a product must meet specific criteria. It should originate in a defined geographical area, with its quality and characteristics being largely or entirely attributable to that environment, including both natural and human factors. The production, processing, and preparation must also take place with that geographical area. Despite these strict definitions, marketing often provides consumers with alternative interpretations of what it means for product to be typical. This can include claims about organoleptic qualities, historical significance, or artisanal processes, which may have little to do with true meaning of the term. Unsurprisingly, these interpretations are almost always presented in a positive light. Can a product with defects be typical? If you ask the average consumer, they likely say no. A product that openly declares even minor defects, such as virgin olive oil, with slight chemical or organoleptic issues, might lead buyers to assume it was poorly processed, failed to meet standards, or was made from inferior raw materials. As a result, they might think the product has lost its defining characteristics. Interestingly, some producers have embraced defects as a part of product's unique identity. For example, the French company Premier Person Provence markets a range of virgin olive oils made from ripe, fermented olives. These oils are crafted using a process similar to that used for desert wines, resulting in a delicate oil with unique flavors reminiscent of black olives, woodland, and roasted notes. These oils are sold in 250 centiliters metal containers with some carrying DOP certification. To qualify, they must meet strict criteria. The oil must be produced in a defined geographical area reflecting the environment-product relationship. The main olive varieties must make up at least 80% of the content, ensuring a raw material-product relationship. The entire production process must take place with the defined region. The distinctiveness of the oil is both respected and certified. The production process permits up to 15% of the olives to be affected by natural factors such as frost, hail, or bird pecking. Slight fermentation is also allowed between harvesting and processing, eliminating the need for aerating containers during storage. Consequently, standards like K270 index, which measures the oxidation, is closely tied to oil acidity and peroxide levels, are adjusted accordingly. Thus, even virgin oil can be typical. As with genuineness, when defining and using the concept of typical, it is crucial to be clear about the message you want to communicate to avoid consuming the consumer or misusing labels. While keeping the legal provisions on labeling in mind, choosing to communicate something as typical does not guarantee that the product is superior to others or that it offers better characteristics than products in the same category. What it does guarantee is the relationship between the environment and the product, between the environment and the raw materials, and between the environment and the production process. This connection is crucial for preserving biodiversity, promoting the territory and its products, ensuring fair compensation, protecting against fraud, and adding value by associating the product with the region it comes from. This relationship does not serve as a guarantee of excellence, as being typical is not intended to imply superior quality. If you wish to ask us questions, you can do so either by email oliveoildrops@gmail.com, website www.oliveoildrops.com, where you can also find texts of the podcasts both in English and Italian, or a comment space of the podcast platform you have been using and to which you can subscribe free of charge. Thank you for tuning in today.